Good evening. This is Financial Literacy 101. And today I'll be covering a topic that I usually don't cover, ladies and gentlemen. And it's quite disturbing. So I would say that some of the things you may hear will be very controversial. And this, nothing really financial. I'm a loss for words right now, but I will like to share my screen with you, and so you can get some perspective of what I'll be covering. All right, here we go.
Said his son Travis shot in self-defense, saying Arbery began to violently attack. Arbery's mother has not watched that video made public this week.
What was your reaction when you heard that the McMichaels had been arrested?
Actually, I was in a numb state because I had waited for 2 months, two months and 2 weeks.
William Bryan recorded the video of the shooting. His attorney, Kevin Goff.
And was he with the McMichaels? Was he driving out?
Let's start over and really see the beginning.
Tonight, newly public video in the case of Ahmaud Arbery. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation confirms it is reviewing this surveillance video obtained by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, showing a person walking up to a house, entering, then leaving a short time later. That person believed to be Arbery, according to a statement from his family's attorneys, who write, "This video is consistent with the evidence already known to us," noting that the house was empty, under construction, and Arbery engaged in no illegal activity. The GBI confirms that video was reviewed before the McMichaels were arrested. Arbery's death sparked nationwide protests. The 25-year-old seen running out for a jog, his family says, unarmed. In the truck, Gregory and Travis McMichael, armed and pursuing Arbery because they thought he was a burglary suspect. In a police report, the senior McMichael said his son Travis shot in self-defense, saying Arbery began to violently attack. Arbery's mother has not watched that video made public this week.
What was your reaction when you heard that the McMichaels had been arrested?
Actually, I was in a numb state because
So, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you this right here. I'm going to give you a little more context regarding the two young men that got killed, in my opinion, simply because they were Black. I know that I have subscribers who are Caucasian descent and also Hispanic descent, so I understand. You might just want to know my perspective on these two killings. That one happened back in February the 23rd, and one happened recently. Now, the one I'm about to show you right now, this is over a traffic accident that I won't show the entire video because it's quite long, but I just want to build some sort of context so you guys understand the angle that I'm actually coming from. Okay, and this is from another guy I'm subscribed to that gives out pretty good information. So just bear with me. Here we go.
By a Brad here. Now, this says Anthony Trifoletti, 24, shot and killed Doug Lewis, he's 39, on Friday and claimed self-defense, as he told St. Paul police. So investigators say the shooting occurred after Lewis rear-ended Trifoletti's truck in a fender bender. Okay, that happens. Well, call the police and they'll sort out what it is. No. He said he felt threatened with his life and believed Lewis was a gang member before firing his weapon. Now, gang member is just to say, oh, well, this gives me a green light to kill this Black man because I think he's a gang member. You know, gang member, all that's code word to try to kill Black people, okay? So they say the shooting.
Okay, so that's really all what I want you guys to really see from what I'm trying to make a point here. We know that the killing of unarmed Black people have been going on for centuries, and this is nothing new. The difference is that we have video evidence to show this. Now, the first case is about a 25-year-old Black man who was a known jogger by his family, went on a jog, who got missing, misidentity, like someone, they thought he was a burglar or some sort. But if you look at the case, they have information that these guys knew who this guy was. They had previous encounter. So he's on the jog. They think he stole something and he's running from the scene of the crime. But essentially he has on a white t-shirt and he has on shorts. So evidently he has nothing that he could possibly steal, or maybe some jewelry, but this is from an empty construction site of a house. I mean, the most he probably can steal is maybe some tools and some wood, but that's not the thing. They get on the back of their trucks. Now, one was a previous police officer, but no longer. He gets on the back of their truck. One gets on the back of the truck. The other one gets inside the truck, drive, and chase down this guy. They get into an altercation with guns. He doesn't have a gun, and they shoot and kill him. The second one basically was in an accident. The young black man ran into the Caucasian guy. They get out. They're arguing. They're having a dispute. Supposedly, the young black guy says, I'm GD or something like that. So the white guy says he fears for his life. So he goes back in his truck, not to drive off because I'm scared, but go back in my car and grab my gun and come back out. Not go in my car, let me see if I remember the license plate and report this, but grab my gun and then say that the young black man was about to pull out a gun, so I killed him. And then when police did a report, he had no weapons at all. He didn't even have any drugs or anything else on his person or in his car. So before I even go deeper into this conversation, right, because it's very, very disturbing. Usually I don't do any videos on topics like this because they're very volatile, they're very controversial, they're very, very explosive. But there's a time where people need to start really letting other people know, regardless of your race or your ethnic, how you feel. So I'm going to deconstruct some numbers so you understand, because some people like to blur the lines of, oh, white people get shot just as much as black people by the police and by other people. No, and this has nothing to do with the police right now. This has something, basically something to do with unarmed black people getting killed. Now, even though this is going to highlight the police, so if you're a police officer, this has nothing to do with you, but it's just kind of a general consensus. I'm trying to break something down. So let's look at this really quickly. We're going to go through some sites here with some information. All right, I want you to look at the site. Right here, it says number of people shot to death by the police in the United States from 2017 to 2020 by race. So as you can tell, you have white, black, and Hispanic. Let's just focus on those three, right? Because that's majority of Americans, majority of people in America are white, black, and Hispanic, or Caucasian, African-American, and Latino or Latina, or Hispanic, however you want to box it. Let's look at these numbers. Again, these are numbers, not percentages. So what happens is media and forms of government like to give people hard numbers, because then you was like, oh, well, I guess it's not that bad because, 457 white people got killed by the police or by other people. And it's like, well, black people only half of that. So let me give you the hard-nosed truth. And this is why I tell people that the truth of evidence, the truth of money is in percentages, not in hard numbers, because we're not the same percentage than our white counterparts. You get what I'm saying? Let's look at this. So we're going to go over to the Census Bureau.gov, and it says right here, the population of white people is 76.5. Now, granted, the population of America is around 330 million people, okay? So right here it says, you see the first line, population estimates, 328, but it's 330 million if you want to round up, because the last time I looked at it, and this is from 2019, it's around 329 million people. So again, white people make up 76, almost 77 of America's population. Okay. Now, black or African American, we make up 13.4%. 13.4. So do you think when it comes to percentages and ratios that the number of people getting killed are at the same rate? No. At the same number? No. So when you really do the math, ladies and gentlemen, I won't even give it away yet. I won't give it away. Let's look at this. Men of color more likely to be killed by police. See, if anybody knows this, and I'm speaking to the choir, I'm preaching to the choir, why are Black people so demonized? Why are we so demonized? Why we are looked at the scum of the fucking earth? Why? Supposedly, you look at archaeology and evidence that Black people were the first people on this earth. But I guess we're the most despicable people on the earth as well. And that's why we're like animals and we should be killed. I was looking at a video that they were showing in China. They had an African descended person beside an animal, and that African descended person had the same facial expressions as that animal, literally the highest form of racism, showing that we're animals, okay? And that we should be taught that we should be killed and treated like animals. And if you notice, lately, if you're looking at any videos or reading any news back in China, how they're blaming Africans, beating them up with poles and bats and kicking them and choking them, basically saying they brought COVID-19 over to China. This is the highest level of racism and hatred. It doesn't matter what continent we are on, except for some parts of Africa. There's racism against Black people even in Africa. There's a strong Chinese population, and this has nothing to do going against the Asian community at all. I want to bring truth to light. Okay, now some of you can say, well, you're probably only showing websites that go along with the point you're trying to make. I chose random websites that I'm getting, because here's the thing. If this is not common knowledge just by looking at videos on social media or mainstream news, then you're lost, then you're uninformed. But I'm going somewhere with this. Let's look at this. Unarmed Black people were killed by police at 5 times the rate of unarmed whites in 2015. You got Black, Hispanic, and white. This is what we're dealing with. See, these are the numbers that we're dealing with. And my question to you is, what are we doing as a people to stop this? So we wait till people get killed, we wait till people die, and then we want to come together. And then once the family get retribution or they get some money, we pat them on the back, we say, sorry for your loss. Some celebrity pays for their funeral, and then we go back into our cubby holes until the next Black man or Black woman gets killed. Okay. I had a conversation with my buddies about some of this very thing, and I realized that as African Americans, Black people, Africans, whatever, if you have this melanin in your skin, first and foremost, in most of the countries around the world, not all, you are a target. Secondly, Black people, throughout the course of time, you know, do you know what we have always had? A leader. We do not have a leader, especially during the 50s to the 70s. We've had leaders. We had the NSAAP when they was actually doing stuff for Black people, the Black Panther Party, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and many others that I can't really recall right now. But the one thing we're lacking is a leader, and we're lacking organization. That's why we would never get, what's the word? Reparations. We would never get it. We're never going to get reparations. We're never going to get true freedom because we're not willing to sacrifice our lives, right? We only get together when one of us dies, and then we want to get mad and we want to protest and we want to fight. And then some of you are saying, so what the hell are you doing since you're bringing it out there? I'm here to support any leader, and I don't feel like I'm a leader on this. I'm gonna tell you who's my nominee to be a leader for for melanated people going forward. I have a name, you know his name, we all know his name, and he's still alive. And he's probably the best figure. And here's the thing that's going to separate him. His name is Louis Farrakhan. Am I his religion? No. But that is the one thing that is going to separate Black people, is the freaking religions. That is what separates us, because some of you are going to say, well, I'm Christian and he's Muslim. And automatically you're going to turn your back. See, what I've noticed about Jewish people, what I've noticed about white people, what I know about Asian people is that they come together and they organize behind a group or behind a person, and they agree on one thing. You know what they say? We're going to make this money. We're going to make this money. That is what they do. That is what they do. See, I'm going to tell you how they decimated the Black race. Other than slavery, other than Jim Crow, when we promote a leader, when we get behind a leader, they kill them, they assassinate them. But we kind of got to be like Bebe's kids. We don't die, we multiply. The next Black leader should have stepped up, because to understand, to get a footing in this country, to be equal, because here's the thing, not that we're not equal, but for us to get equal rights, equal justice, we have to be willing to die for the cause of our children. See, when Louis Farrakhan did the Million Man March, I was there. Am I Muslim? No. Did I have other people who were Christians and Hindu? Yes, they were. Buddhists, yeah, that's Black Buddhist people. They were there because he went on a cause of stopping Black people from getting killed. He did it to motivate the African-American race to come together as one. But I don't know what happened after that. See, I am tired of us just not forming together. We fight against each other. See, I got so much on my mind, ladies and gentlemen. I'm trying to get my thoughts together, so I apologize if I'm all over the place. But here's the thing. I am tired of every other race talking about, where you guys are worried about whites and police killing you guys, but you're killing yourself more so than white people and police are. Well, okay, hold up. Does anyone have a brain? Does anyone understand how people in a community kill each other? Okay, I'm gonna take this out of the book from D.L. Hughley. It's proximity killings. Proximity killings. People in the same neighborhood kill each other. People in white neighborhoods kill each other. People in Black neighborhoods kill each other. It's called proximity killings. But my argument here is there was a lot less proximity killings of African Americans during the civil rights movement, because we were behind a leader, we was behind a cause, and the number one thing that we're not right now, organized. We have the Urban League and NAACP, and we have all these African-American groups all doing their little thing, but not forming together under one cause. See, in order to make a movement, in order to get footing, in order for things to get to the government, for us to make a sort of way, we have to come together. When I look at videos and I'm listening to rap music and people are beefing over the most dumbest shit I can ever think of, I'm like, dude, you guys are just rappers. Like, you're former gangsters, you're former drug dealers, but now you're rapping, you have all this money, and the only thing you can do is find beef and argue. Haven't we have enough Black people killed over music? Let alone, let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you. First and foremost, we have other people killing Black people. We have Asian people killing Black people. We have white people killing Black people. And then, unfortunately, we have Black people killing Black people. We have everybody against us. When are we going to lay down all this petty crap and actually come together and be one? Now, I'm not expecting all of us to come together, join hands, and sing Kumbaya, because there's just some people you just don't like. But here's my thing. I may not like you, but if we are all part of the same group, supporting the same cause, then I'm good with that. You're not going to agree with everybody, but we need to come together and agree with something. And my nomination for a leader is Louis Farrakhan. Now, if you know somebody better, please tell me. I thought about Eric Dyson. I thought about Neil deGrasse Tyson. I didn't think about Ben Carson. I didn't think about him. I didn't think about Bill Cosby. Who else is a public figure? I didn't think about LeBron James, because we need someone who is highly intelligent. We need somebody who's going to look at the devil in his face and say, bring it. And if you ever saw Louis Farrakhan in front of people, if you ever seen him doing a news interview, he doesn't play games. And that's the person what we need. Now, I hear some people on the internet are encouraging Black people to go out and get guns. I got a couple of guns myself. Do I carry guns all the time? No, I do not. Do I carry for self-defense? Am I thinking, you know, I'm gonna carry a gun because a white person might kill me, a white cop might try to kill me and I'm gonna pull out my gun? No, my last resort is violence. Because for some reason, Black people are stereotyped, we're demonized to say that we are violent people. There were murderers, there were thieves, there were all these despicable things. How are we the first people in the world? And if you know anything about your history, about the Moors, basically just Africans, they went around the world sharing technologies, like they shared technologies in Europe about the sewer system because they were living in their own feces. See, I like what Tariq Rashid did with his hidden colors 1 through 5. If you want to know about who your people are, then look at that. Hidden Colors 1 through 5. I believe they have it on Amazon. And I think about how great Black people are. I talk to Black people and they don't even know where they come from. And I don't even mean Africa or what country or what tribe. I'm getting somewhere with this. I know I'm all over the map. I'm bringing it together. Do you know that we are scientists, that we are inventors, that we are engineers? Do you know this? See, a lot of people don't even know their own Black history. I was talking to somebody today and it's like, I'm gonna go out and get some super soakers. I said, do you know who created super soakers? They was like, well, no. I said, a Black man. They said, really? I said, Lonnie Johnson. He was an engineer for NASA. So when you buy a super soaker, it was invented by a Black man. A version of the traffic light, they had a yield sign. And also the gas mask was invented by Gerd A. Morgan. Or what about the filament that Lewis Latimer was on the Edison team for the light bulb? See, this information, ladies and gentlemen, we can't have people to demonize us. We can't have people to criminalize us. And we don't know who we are. I know where I come from. I come from a race. I come from a people who are not just physically strong, because that's the only thing they think, oh, you're good for sports, you're good for singing, you're good for entertaining. That's why when you look at certain people's YouTube channels, you don't see too many subscribers on Black financial channels, do you? No, you do not, because they don't see us in that light. But you guys will go out and subscribe to other channels about entertainment and sports. But that's not the gist of our people. Before we even did sports, we were scientists. Charles Drew, blood transfusion. Every time I talk about Black history, what do people talk about? They talk about George Washington Carver. I commend the guy, but he's not the only one. Then they talk about Martin Luther King, but they don't want to talk about Malcolm X. Oh, people like to prop up Martin Luther King because it was nonviolent. Well, if you knew anything about Martin Luther King, prior to his whole nonviolence thing, if you do your research, he wanted to go on this thing like Malcolm X. He wanted to be kind of violent. Then somebody say, hey man, you're not going to really reach the people like that. But then I hear people demonizing Malcolm X, talking about, oh, he was a troublemaker. He was a very violent guy. He wanted to take the Nation of Islam and go and kill white people like Nat Turner. What? Malcolm X was about, you hit me, I'm gonna hit your ass back. That was Malcolm X was talking about. He never wanted to go out. He said, in the Nation of Islam, we never provoked or start violence, but we'll finish it. He was willing to lay down his life for in the sake of, if you put your hands on me, I'm gonna put my hands on you. All of our leaders have been assassinated, killed, or muted, or muffled. And the only person I can think of is Louis Farrakhan, because we're talking about Ahmaud Arbery and Doug Lewis. One guy had a fender bender. White guy got mad. They get into an altercation. The black guy supposedly said GD. He's like, oh, it's some sort of gang thing. So he goes back in his car because he feared for his life. He feared for his life. So he goes back into his car and grabs a gun. And grabs a gun because you're scared. I can tell you right now, I've never feared for my life and went to go get a gun and come back. You freaking leave the scene. You make a report. And then another guy supposedly burglarized a home that was under construction, nothing in it, right? And then two good old boys jump on a truck, and this is in Brunswick, Georgia. That's why I'm not moving to Georgia. I'm sorry. And hunt this dude down like he's prey, and they're the predators. One gets into a tussle, the other one's on a truck pointing a shotgun or a rifle at him, taking shots. Shoot this 25-year-old guy dead. Black people and anybody else who supports Black people, when are we going to get tired? Because I'm going to tell you right now, when it comes to being highly intelligent and no political speech and political, I'm not the guy. But I will be a coordinator. I will be a supporter. I will be part of the cabinet. I would do what I have to do for us to organize everybody, because everybody is given their version of how, their perspective and how they think. Okay, all these powerful, rich Black people out here, do something, man. Do something. We are literally dying. And I'm gonna tell you another thing that I thought of too. And I'm gonna read some of your notes. I see you guys over there got a lot to say. And I'm all over the board. I know. I'm just letting it go, ladies and gentlemen. I'm letting it go because I'm just freaking tired. I'm tired of people like me dying. And let me tell you the difference. Let me tell you something like this. People who are below a certain level of income, have you noticed they're the ones who usually die? Middle class African Americans and high class and rich African Americans are usually not the people who are getting killed. Have you noticed that? They're usually people who live in low income neighborhoods, projects, the hood, or as what people would say, urban part of town. Have you noticed that? They're the people who are mostly patrol and monitor and police. Have you noticed that? Why do you think I started this channel, was it 3-4 years ago? Because I realized growing up in Southeast DC, where I've seen Blacks kill people, I've seen police kill people, I've seen it all. I've been harassed by police. The actual term of what you're doing in this neighborhood happened to me. Me and a buddy of mine, we were riding around Upper 16th Street. If anybody from the DC area, Upper 16th Street is a very rich area in DC. You got Upper 16th Street, you got Georgetown, you got Adamsburg, and you got a few areas in DC that are really rich. Some are mixed, but not Upper 16th Street at the time. What are you doing in this neighborhood, boy? He didn't say, boy, that's more of a Southern thing. He said, what are you doing in this neighborhood? It's like, I'm going over a friend's house. Why do I have to explain my goddamn self to the police of where I'm going? Isn't this a free country? It's not free for Black people. Why is somebody asking you where you going in an open city, on an open road? You get what I'm trying to say? I'm just trying to bring truth to light, because these two young men lost their lives, in my opinion, because they were Black. Because they were Black. And the reason why people, why mostly, not all, why mostly white people think they can kill Black people and get away with it, because we allow it to happen. I'm not telling you to run to the gun store and go get guns and go around killing white people. No, I'm not telling you that. What I'm telling you is we need a leader and we need organization, because we have no power. We're so separate. We let everything separate us. We let money separate us. We let religion separate us. We let controversial issues separate us. And here's the thing. Some people in your corner, some people in your community that are of other races, they'll ask you a very volatile question like this. They'll say, I don't understand why Black people are not doing well, because you're doing well. Why is it that they're having issues? Oh my gosh. See, what I don't understand is the way that you manipulate people is you say, well, these Black people are doing well, so these other Black people should be doing well too, or they have the ability to do well. Let me tell you something, man. If you, this is my arbitrary out of pocket numbers in my head. Out of the people I grew up with, out of all the people, I'm gonna say out of the 10 people I grew up with, 2 of them are doing well. Me and another brother. He is doing well. We're the only 2. Them other 8 are struggling. They're trying to make it day by day. You say, okay, what did you do different than they didn't do? I was in a gang in high school only for protection. I'm all over the place. I'm gonna read your notes. I'm gonna get back on track. Let me read your notes, because I know I'm all over the board, because I'm upset. I'm just tired of Black people freaking dying for no apparent reason. No apparent reason. If a Black person breaks in somebody's house and gets shot, okay, he needs to get shot. Don't trespass in other people's houses. If they burglarize a store, rob a bank, they get shot in the process, I understand. If somebody's trying to do armed robbery on a person, I understand. But jogging? You get killed jogging? Car accident. You scared for your life. You go in your car, you get your gun, you scared because you think he's a gang member, then he's reaching for a gun. He had no gun or weapons on him. I'm gonna read your notes. I'm a little pissed off, guys. I'm just tired of it. That's all. I'm just tired of Black people down for no reason, because we have everything against us. We have everything against us. Think about it like this, and this has nothing to do with my Hispanic subscribers. Some Black people are racist against other Black people, but it has to do with the level of money sometimes, right? Sometimes it has to do with the level of intelligence. When an intelligent Black person speaks to someone they presume not as intelligent or on the same level as them, have you ever seen any discord with that? Like they're acting snooty. That's a form of that's a form of prejudice between 2 Black people of the same race. I've seen it on intellectual levels. I've seen it on financial levels. No one's better than you because you don't make as much money as another person. No one's better than you because you have a different lexicon, and lexicon simply means vocabulary, than everybody else. So what? Our life is valuable regardless of our intelligence, regardless of our money, regardless of what we can do with our bodies and our voice. It is precious. And I'm tired of us dying because people think that we're animals. People think that we're criminals simply because the color of our freaking skin. I'm gonna read your notes. El Cool J said, this is really good knowledge you spreading. Thank you. Jermaine Anderson said, that's a fact. Jerome says, they kill our leaders and replace them with pawns. They do. And I'm going to talk about pawns right after this. Thanks for bringing that up. Chantia says, I think that Dr. Wesley and Nura are taking over leadership in the nation. Dr. Wesley. Jermaine Anderson, we move like individuals, never a group. Thank you very much, Jermaine. El Kuje says, most folks who are murdered and killed from the closest to them. Dr. Claude Anderson, okay. Dr. Wesley Mohammed, okay. What else do we have here? And let me tell you, now, I love Dr. Claude Anderson, but he's at the point of his age that I know he's dealing with some health problems, so he may not be the most strongest candidate, but he definitely is up in that cabinet, up in that group, okay? I'm just telling you my nomination, and all of us have different people we're going to idolize or nominate that could be a great leader for us to move forward. Because at the end of the day, we need laws, we need bills. If we're going to stay in this country, And we're going to stay in this country and be safe, or we're going to stay in this country and be safe, we're going to need organization, ladies and gentlemen. We're not going to need organizations, but we need to be organized, because we have all these organizations, but we're not organized. And usually we just need somebody who's a strong figurehead, like Wesley, like Dr. Claude Anderson, if he was in better health, like Louis Farrakhan, etc. There's more people out there, but some of them they just won't fit the bill, though, right? Because they have their own rhetoric, they have their own supporting cast. Like, I thought about Dr. Eric Dyson, very intelligent guy. His last book was phenomenal. I forgot the name of his the sermon the Sermon to White America, something like that. What's the guy's name that he always says, dear brother? He wears the glass, got the big hair. I thought about Dr. Umar Johnson. Not the right fit. See, this is my personal perspective, but there's many leaders out there that could possibly do this job, but it's going to take a special type of person. And the reason why I said Louis Farrakhan was the one person that came to mind is because he actually got 1 million Black men together to march on Washington. None of these other people have done nothing close to what he done. That's the only reason why I'm saying that. I'm back on your notes. I'm back on your notes. Man, this is frustrating. All right, here we go. See, this is crazy. It's been crazy. Tick 2, Simrose says, very true. Our life is valuable. Leslie Grisby says, evening king, evening fam. We hate each other, but we love their wealth. I'm gonna speak about that, man. You know, we are the biggest sellouts when it comes to money. Ben Carson, I'm gonna make him an example real quick. Hate to beat up the brother, but he said that we were laborers, not slaves. That we, he essentially almost said that we was on freaking cruise ships coming over here. You think people are jumping off of cruise ships because they don't want to go to slavery? You think people are drowning their babies because they heard about the atrocities that were happening in America? Now, you talking about, I don't want to throw out the terms coon and all these other derogatory terms towards a Black man, but he's a definite sellout. Now, let me tell you something else about Ben Carson. He was the first doctor, and he's also African-American, to separate Siamese twins. So, but he's the sellout. That's just my opinion. David E says, not safe to be a Black person in America, especially as a Black man. Living life, we need to check the music, media, and gangbangers on the corner that's killing our image. I agree. Dr. Claude Anderson did set up a blueprint on a basis for one. Yes, he did, Maddox. Thank you. Says, Face Killer says, do you guys not see the new video of him? Who runs in khaki shorts and shoes he had on? Y'all are a mess. Okay. Maddox says, Dr. Carson video say, living life. I believe you should be your own leader through your wisdom. Dr. Anderson speaks to why Native Americans were not able to enslave effects African were in some degree was because Indians would seek revenge. Indeed, and we don't seek revenge. Now, back on living life, when you say you should be your own leader, I agree. But when it comes to proposing legislation and bills and laws, we need a leader, and we need to be organized behind that leader so African Americans can have the same rights, the same justice as everyone else. See, my thing is, I'm not worried about being equal to anybody. I already know I'm equal or even better than any other race. I'm either equal or better. I'm not worried about being less than. I am talking about on a judicial level, okay? I am talking about on a justice level, okay? Not being marginalized, not being disenfranchised, not being hunter after because of the color of my skin. That is what I'm talking about. See, remember the old term, it takes a village to raise a child? It's going to take the country of Black people and those who support us to change the nation. I've thought about this a long time, and I'm in the weeds about it. Next 5 to 10 years, I really want to leave America. And America is all I know. America is what I call home. But I'm a victim. I'm a victim. I walk down the street not really thinking about when I will die, but how I would die. Am I going to be mistaken identity and get incarcerated or get killed? Or I just don't know. And these two young men, Ahmaud Arbery and Doug Lewis, lost their lives, from my point of view, because they were Black. My question is, aren't you tired? Aren't you tired? We're talking about, you know, the way they symbolize us on TVs, the imagery they have on TV. You remember how we always joke around, like, if there's a Black person in the movie, they're going to die first, and this still happens, unless it's a Black movie. Someone talked about gangster music and people on corners. That's the least of our problems, okay? You could talk about people on a corner selling drugs, prostitutes, crack cocaine, rappers, entertainers. That's the least of our problems. You're talking about image. You're talking about image. See, no one talks about the whole era of the mafia, the Italians. No one ever talks about that. We glorify mafia, don't we? We love those mafia movies. But these guys were ruthless. These guys were demons. The things that they did to each other, Black people didn't even do that. We just boom, boom, shot him up, boom, he dead. No, they slit in your throat. They drowning you alive. They did all sorts of things. But we glorify that. But we always talk about our own. We always talk about our own. And I'm not trying to compare deaths. What I'm trying to say is we can worry about our image all we want. And everybody got different images. Everybody got different stereotypes. But the thing I'm talking about is the one thing that Martin Luther King was fighting for, the one thing that Malcolm X was fighting for, is for us to be judged, for us to be looked at as equal. Now, here's some truth to power. If you had enough money, what would you do? If you had enough money, would you move to a mixed neighborhood? Would you move to a white neighborhood? Or would you try to start your own neighborhood just for Black people? My thing is not being separate from any other race. But my quest is to just be equal, man. I know I'm equal. You know you guys are equal. But the rest of the world think we're dogs. They think we're monkeys. They think we're apes. They think we're trash. They think that, you know, you kill one Black person, you'll be okay. I hope that I hope that the 3 white men involved in these 2 killings, I hope they get the death penalty. I know that's strong. I'm just tired. Because you know what? I'm tired, and I know you guys are tired of seeing African Americans and people of color, I hate that term, scratch people of color, African Americans being killed for no apparent reason, simply because they are Black, simply because they're in the wrong neighborhood, supposedly, simply because they decided to take a job, just because it's like anybody else getting to a fender bender. They lost their lives. I want you guys to go back, as long as you can go back, of all the videotapes of all the different Black people getting killed. What about the guy who was a school teacher who had the dreads? He got killed right in the car beside his girlfriend. Or what about the old Black guy who was running away from the police and got killed from behind? What about all these? What about Trayvon Martin? What about the guy, I forgot his name, in New York, who the police choked him out and he died? What about this? He was selling cigarettes. You lose your life because you're selling cigarettes. Then some people may argue, well, they were never doing wrong, then they will never happen. My question is this, guys, and you know where it's going. You know where it's going. If he was white, would that have happened? I mean, the world would never know, but I can tell you this, I don't believe so. We have to understand that we are not being judged the same way as any other race. So again, I say, if you are one of my Caucasian or Hispanic or Asian subscribers, don't take offense to this, because this has really nothing to do with you per se. It has everything to do with this country and how people treat one another, how people treat Black people. I've never hurt anyone outside of the football field in my life. No. Have I gotten in fights? Yeah. Have I ever killed anybody? I was in the military. I ought to say that. I just don't get it, man. It burns me up that we fight against each other. And you get people in the chat, right? You get people in the chat room saying stuff like, oh, you need to be the leader of yourself. I living life, I didn't really take offense to it. But that comment doesn't make any sense, man. It doesn't make any sense. Be a leader of yourself. There's a lot of Black people a leader themselves, and they're still freaking dying. The problem is we don't have unity. UNITY. Remember that song? We don't have unity. We don't have camaraderie. We don't join together. We all think that the other Black person, like you speak to a Black person on the street outside of the South, and they're like, why are you saying hi to me? I'm just saying, hey, what's going on, bro? How everything doing, man? What's going on? Because we got to understand there's not that many of us, and we're in this together. And he retracted his comment. What did he say? He just says that we feel the white man. You know what, living life? Stop it, man. Stop it. I don't know if you Black, white, or indifferent, but I can tell you what you're saying is a straight trash. I'm going to read one of his comments. Let's see what he got to say this time. We got to pull our money together to buy or build politicians, and don't leave. We work our ass off and have it the easy way we ever had it. You know what? That's a lot of truth to that. It's a lot of truth to that, because I'm going to tell you why I agree with what he's saying on this particular point. White people do it. White people put their money together and they go out and they buy politicians, and those politicians go ahead and pass legislation that helps them. Maddox says, this is why I don't let my family watch cop shows. We're always the criminals. Yes, we are. The abuser or the weak parent who knows nothing. D. Jones says, no, start my own. I moved to almost nothing but podcasts and YouTube videos. And then Living Life says, respect is taken and earned that comes from the way you carry yourself and how you handle your business. But we must clean our own house before we try to clean someone else's house. I don't know where you're going there. We're talking about 2 Black men who got killed because of the color of their skin. Again, what you're talking about is the personal account of Black people in their home and their community. What I am talking about on a nationwide scale, regardless of I'm wearing a suit or a jumpsuit, that they still see a threat. They still see somebody who they fear, that, and then in that fear, they have to kill us. See, my people lack. My people perish from the lack of knowledge. And the lack of knowledge is this. When you believe that you can move the needle on prejudice, when you can move the needle on racism, because you figured out that you're going to be your own leader, when you figure out that, oh, I'm going to take care of my household, I'm going to take care of my kids, and everything is going to be okay. No, it's not. I don't care if you're wearing skinny jeans and a sweat hoodie versus a black guy with a suitcase. You are still looked at the same. You may just look less threatening. And guess what? A lot of my friends wear suits. They're rich tycoons. They're real estate tycoons. They wear suits. But guess what they do when they're off? They wear jumpsuits. They wear hoodies. They wear jeans. They wear Jordans. So that means if they're not in their suits, they're going to get killed because of what America. Listen, Black people have a different style than everybody else. We wear clothes differently. Me and a white person can wear the same suit. I'm a little different in our suit just because. We can wear the same hood and jeans and J's, and I will wear it different. I will wear it different. So people need to open up their eyes and stop believing that, oh, if you're an educated Black person or if you're a person with money, you're going to be looked at differently. Remember LeBron James? Remember somebody spray painted nigger on his house? Remember that? Remember they sprayed that on his house? That's what they said. Because at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how famous you are. If you're hated because of the color of your skin, then you're hated. And then I'm going to tell you something else. If somebody comes up to you, regardless of the color of skin, they can be even Black. If they tell you that you're not like the rest of them, walk away. Walk away. Because that person is racist, in my opinion. Yo, you're not like the rest of them. Rest of who? The negativity, we don't need right now. We need positivity right now. We need unification right now. And the only thing I'm saying in the respects of Ahmaud Arbery and Doug Lewis, I just want us as a race, as a people, to reflect not only on their death, but on their life. That these two young men had an entire life ahead of them, and they got killed because of the color of their skin. If that doesn't hit home with you, if you got lost in all of my rhetoric, if you got lost in my perspective, if you got lost in my point of view, then we are truly lost. These are my feelings. These are my emotions. This is how it is. And it's easy to act in anger. It's easy to speak in anger and say, you know what? Let's go get a bunch of guns. That's stupid. Violence is not the way, guys. Violence is not the way. Self-defense, yes. Don't get me wrong. Defend yourself by all means necessary, but don't go out and incite violence. Don't go out and start riots. Don't do that. But protect yourself. Call for your leaders in your communities to do something, to promote someone. We need to be organized. We need leaders. We need another Malcolm X. We need another Marcus Garvey. We need another Martin Luther King. We need another Huey Newton. We need leaders to take up the mantle and willing to risk their lives, because it's easy for a guy on YouTube like myself to say all of this, but I can tell you the one thing that I'm not. I'm not the leader that Black people need in order to move forward. I'm just not that. I'm not that guy, but I'm willing to support that guy because I think about my son. I think about my family. I think about all the Black men and women who have died by the hands of other people for no reason at all. See, as Black people, we war against ourselves and we speak this uneducated bullcrap rhetoric of we need to police our own. We need to train our kids. We need to do all this. Do you understand the problem is much bigger than that? Do you understand that some of the mindsets that we have revert all the way back to slavery? And some Black people are like, oh, we got to get off the slavery tip. Do you understand that our people have been enslaved and went through Jim Crow for over 400 years? And someone asked me this. They said, well, so if Black people have developed this mindset and they developed this way of living, then how long is it going to take for you guys to think differently and be different? I said twice the time that we were actually in slavery. We're only 800 years. That's the way I think about it. For 400 years, we have been manipulated. We have been manipulated that light-skinned Black people are better than dark-skinned Black people. Hey, remember anybody heard of the group, the Brown Paper Girls? There were light-skinned Black females. They didn't let dark-skinned females inside. A very prejudiced group against their own. It's still like that today. It may not be so much of shade, but it has to do with class. Class. See, rich Black people, they hang out with rich white people, but they don't go to communities that they probably were from and bring people back up. We need leadership. We need to be organized. See, when someone tell you they start playing the race card, start bringing up slavery, then they are not informed. I want you guys to go out and read Dr. Claude Anderson's book, Black Labor, White Wealth. Dr. Claude Anderson, Black Labor, White Wealth. And you would see there was laws that white people put out to prevent Black people from even becoming businessmen. What we don't understand, ladies and gentlemen, is that this country was built on racism. It was built on hate. It was built on greed. And all of that was built on Christianity. A lot of African Americans are Christians. I'm going somewhere. I tell you, it's about to get real in here with it's about to get real in here. Because I'm about to say some stuff that's not going to be popular. I saw a picture, and the picture had a real dark-skinned guy with dreads. And it said, do you believe white people will allow Black people to have the Bible if they thought what was in the Bible was real? They won't even give us land. They won't even try to have a portion of us to tap into wealth because they prevent it. They'll let a few of us buy so they can say, hey, we're not as racist as you guys think. Look at these Black people. But we know on a national scale, a large amount of Black people in this day and time definitely not going to do well. It's just the numbers are stacked against you. Let me ask you something. If you're Christian, let me ask you this question. This country was built on Christianity. On our money, it said, in God we trust. Does anyone remember the movie, I forgot the name of the movie, but it was Nat Turner, how he was going around killing white people. But before that, he was a preacher. And the one verse that they really want him to keep going over and over again is slaves, be obedient to your masters. I'm gonna go there real quick because I want somebody to really feel what I'm getting at here. In Africa, there was religions, but it wasn't Christianity. When slaves were taken from Africa during the Transatlantic slave trade, they brought hundreds of us on boats, on ships to America, 200, 300, 400 people, and maybe 25 to even 50% of those Africans died on ship. And when we hit land, they stripped us of our names. They stripped us of our religion. They stripped us of our culture, and they stripped us of our dignity. They took all of it. How did they do it? They gave us European names. Because when we say American, we understand that Americans are simply immigrants from Europe, slaves, descendants of slaves from Africa, and other immigrants from other countries. They stripped us of our name. Then they didn't want us to do anything cultural, dealing with our culture. They didn't want us to do anything dealing with that. any sort of singing, or they didn't want us to do none of that. It was forbidden. They sure didn't want us to read and really learn the language, because they understood that knowledge is power. Because when we started to read and we started understanding how things work, like your Frederick Douglass, who did a lot for Black people, that's why they didn't want that to happen. They raped us, they killed us, they burned us. They even fought us against each other. They was fighting Black people for sport to death. They also separated us by skin color. Like myself, I'd probably be out in the field somewhere. If you're a lighter skin, you, as people say, you probably was in the house. Do you know growing up, we used to have jokes about that? We joked about it. We joked about it. Oh man, you would have been a house slave. You would have been out there and you one of them field niggas. Why? Then in high school, I remember in high school being dark skinned, the light-skinned brothers were getting more attention until like Boomerang and other movies came out. We had Eddie Murphy, Morris Chestnut, then all of a sudden dark skin was in. But do you know for a very long time that there was discrimination and prejudice against light-skinned and dark-skinned Blacks? Who you think did that to us? You think we did it to ourselves? No. No. I want you guys to go out and read the Willie Lynch syndrome, the Willie Lynch speech, the breaking of a slave. See, I'm going to the point where I want you guys to understand that Black people just arrived out of slavery and we became horrible people. Before the 70s, Black families were together more so than anything. We were strong. But what did they do? What did they do? They introduced crack cocaine into the neighborhoods and got us strung up. First of all, they locked up and killed Black men. So they already destroyed the Black family. Then they said, okay, that's not working at the same rate that we want to. Let's introduce crack cocaine. There's a very addictive drug. And then pimps came along. Everything derived really during the late 60s, 70s, and 80s. And don't get me wrong, they didn't do all of it. We did some of it ourselves, but who you think initiated it? See, I don't want you to think that I'm blaming everything on white people. I'm blaming everything on these people. No, we do have to take account for some of the things we've done wrong. But we also can't forget how we got to this point. This is 2020. And Black people are still being killed because of the color of their skin. Black people are still fighting over resources or the lack of resources. Flint, Michigan still has a water problem. Black people, we need a leader. Black people need to be organized. I hope Louis Farrakhan hears this video. And I just want to go out to the minister and I'll say, Minister, you are the man we need. Forget religion, man. Forget religion. I don't mean throw out your Christianity. I'm not saying that. When a Black leader comes before you, and it's not going to be Jesse Jackson, it's not going to be Al Sharpton. No, those are not the guys. We need somebody who's not going to be playing games with these people. I want you guys to really think about the words that I'm saying. You may agree, you may disagree. I'm not in this. I had to say something today because I'm tired of people who look like me die for no reason at all. I can bring up so many situations of how Black people are demonized because of imagery and how we look and how we dress and how we talk. We're Black, man. We talk however suits us. We talk with people say, oh, you guys use ebonics. Let me tell y'all something. There's no such thing as ebonics. First of all, the word, it derives from the root word ebony. I don't know Black people, there are black women named Ebony, but Ebony and Ivory, they got that and they're talking about Ebonics. There's no such thing as Ebonics. Don't white people speak slang? Don't they? But we speak Ebonics because we cut off some of the words, or we draw out some of the words, or we say words totally different. It's slang. It's language. It's a dialect, but it's not Ebonics. I feel like Ebonics is a racist term to say we can't speak English. Let me tell you another thing that I hate. I hate when a white person, mainly, calls me brother. When they call me bro, I feel like secretly they're calling me nigger, or they're trying to point out the fact that I'm black. Wait a minute. Didn't you just call that guy a man? Didn't you just call that guy John or Jim or Jared or however, but you gonna call me brother? Hey, brother, that's cool, brother. No, stop it. My name is Ray. Call me Ray, call me Ross. Don't call me brother. Now, some of you may not even feel as strongly as that, but I do. I just feel like it's a term that white people try to use to try to say, I'm not racist, so I'm gonna call you brother. First and foremost, black people call other black people brother, but we don't say, what up, brother? What up, bro? That's what we do. But then just call me my freaking name, man. I will be up here all day to point out all the prejudice, stereotypical, and racist sentiments that I actually endured during my lifetime. I'm actually thinking about moving to another country in the next 5 to 10 years. Will they have racism? Sure they will. Will they have it on the same level and rate as America? I doubt it. I will choose very wisely. You know what? Africa is calling a lot of African Americans to come back home. But then I look at Africans, they're coming over here. I'm like, okay, what's going on? You want us back over there? Then Africans are coming over here. Then I don't know where to go. Do black people have any safe place to live? Do black people have any safe place to live? Is it Africa, or is the Chinese taking over that? Is it South Africa, or do you still got France still trying to colonize certain countries in South Africa? Not South Africa, the actual name, because let me break this down. South Africa doesn't make any sense to me. The name of it, just the name, not the country, the name. Because South Africa is a location in Africa. It's not a country's name. You know what I'm trying to say? Like you talking about Ghana, Kenya, Mozambique, Zambia, Niger, Nigeria, etc. Right? You got names of African countries, then you all of a sudden the Dutch just say South Africa. They didn't even give it a name. But I believe that South Africans need to name that country. I'm tired of the racism. I'm tired of the hate. I'm tired of the negativity. I'm just calling for us to become one. You don't got to like each other, but we don't have to kill each other. Because guess what? We got people killing us for us already. They're just killing you because you're you. They're killing you because you're you. Some people don't want to see black people on the face of the earth. I don't understand how we can get the credit as being the first people on the earth, but nobody wants to see us on the earth. They say, oh, everybody derived from black people. So are they killing themselves? That's something to think about. I'm gonna read some of your notes. Living Life says, my people perish from the lack of knowledge. D General said, preach. Living Life said, we definitely need to trust each other more and strategize to succeed in this crazy position that we live in. David E says, this is 2020 and racism still going on. Indeed it is. Maddox says, I like some of RZA's plans. We sure the insurers of these criminal and murders. Yes, 2 times the damage time. Living Life said, we get our ways more from TV now than slavery. We need to stop worshiping money, sex, and attention. I agree. I agree. We need to stop worshiping money, sex, and attention. We need to learn how to make money so you can do what the hell you want to do, but we worship it through other people. We worship money through other people, through celebrities. Why? You know what? Our celebrities, our rappers, our singers, guess what they do? They go out and they rap about Gucci and Fendi and Chanel and all this. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Most Black people can't afford that. But we are literally worshiping that music. Now, me, I listen to rap music all the time, but there's no way I'm gonna break my neck to go buy a freaking Versace shirt for $100. I won't even talk about, I went to a Versace store a couple of years ago, and they had a regular white t-shirt that was $100, and it didn't have no Versace on it, only on the tag. Stupid. We need to support our own. I'll get on that in a second. Living Life says to keep it real, if you don't go back to God, we will never win. That's the problem right there. Read the Bible for yourself, not a religion. We need to be non-emotional. You can't get enough that way. It says, yeah, I would have been a foot warmer. It says, me too, Nigeria talking to companies not on running the networks. We need to pool ourselves. So I'm gonna talk about two things. And I'm gonna get off here because I'm way over my time. I'm way over my time that I usually go. Religion is always a controversial and a very, I don't know. It really stirs up a lot of mess. It really stirs up a lot of stuff because Living Life is talking about the Bible. What if somebody is Muslim? What if somebody is Buddhist? What if somebody is this? Because here's the thing. The reason why I say we need to throw religion away when it comes to joining African Americans together on one cause is because that's the very thing that separates us, is religion. Is religion. Oh, well, he's a Baptist, or he's Episcopalian, or he's a non-denominational, so oh, he's Muslim, or he doesn't even believe in God, or he's an atheist. That's what separates us. Living Life. Religion. You talking about read the Bible, or somebody don't read the Bible, then are you going to follow them? Because that right there, that statement right there cancels out some of the leaders. See, the reason why Martin Luther King had a bigger following than Malcolm X is because of religion. But did you know that Martin Luther King and Malcolm X actually agreed on a lot of things? One of the biggest things that they agreed on was Black nationalism. See, they came together on a cause, not on a religion. If you guys continue to spit and speak and preach religion, then Black people would never be organized. See, I understand something about our white counterparts, regardless if they're racist or not. The one thing they agree on is about money, how they go about money. That is the issue. They always want to do better, and they pick a common cause that they can all agree on, regardless of what they do in their personal life. See, that's the issue, Black people, is that your religion is your religion, is your personal belief. Stop trying to bring everybody into the fold. Stop trying to make everybody evangelists. No, this is much bigger than religion. People are like, oh, well, it's about God and it's about the Bible. It's about the people. If you believe that God has given us free will, then understand he is not interjecting. He is not interrupting our daily lives. He's not doing it. We're governing ourselves. If you read the Bible, you'll understand that he gave you the power already. When you get on your knees or you bow your head and you pray and you say, I pray for forgiveness. I pray for patience. I pray for this. I pray for that. Jesus Christ already died on the cross for your salvation. It's already done. Now you need to walk into it. But when you're talking about a cause on a national level, that's why you hear a lot of people don't speak about religion, because it's going to separate you. That is the one thing. It's going to separate you. When are we going to understand that, first and foremost, who gave Black people Christianity? Who gave Black people the Bible? I'll wait. Who gave it to us? Our slave masters. They made us read it. They made us adopt their religion. See, we're so quick to interject. We're so quick to pray for somebody. We're so quick to read a verse. And a lot of us don't even know how we got Christianity. I'm not telling you don't believe. I'm not telling you don't read your Bible. I'm just saying, have you ever really thought where you got your religion? Let me tell you where you got it from. You got it from slavery. You know why? Because you got it from your mother or father, and they got it from their mother or father, and they got it from their mother and father. And soon we'll be back when those slaves in 1619 in Jamestown, Virginia, hit ground, and those white slave masters stripped them of all they knew of their culture, of their religion, of themselves, of their names, of their dignity, of their manhood and womanhood. They got stripped, they got killed, they got robbed of all of that. And guess what they gave us? They gave me, Raymond. So it's a white European name. Raymond Ross is a white European name. My name would have probably been Mustafa, I don't know, or like this guy, Ahmaud Arbery. Ahmaud is seems like a very African name to me. I have a buddy who's Nigerian. His name is Dapo Ogunbai. Dapo Ogunbai, very Nigerian name. My name probably been something like that. So whatever you do for your personal salvation and spirit and well-being, then do it. But when we're talking about nationalism, Black nationalism, we need a leader, we need to be organized, and we need one common cause that we all can get together and get behind and to support. Lastly, be as Black as you want to be. Don't Uncle Tom yourself up for anybody. The one thing I would tell you is to learn how to code switch, how to operate in different spaces and different places, but be as Black as you want to be as natural as you want to be. And Black women, you are beautiful. Wear your hair natural. You don't have to put all that fake stuff in it. That's just my opinion. Guess who's getting rich off your head, Black women? Asians. Asians who don't give a fuck about you. They don't care nothing about you. That's why when you go in their stores and you're looking at all their products they're selling to you, they're watching throughout the store trying to see if you want to steal something. Why? Still taking your money. Be like some of the shops in Atlanta, Georgia, where Black people have gotten together, opened up shops to sell to Black people. Go support those businesses. See if those businesses have websites. If you have to put fake hair and extensions and you buying products for your hair, try to find a Black website. This is for everybody, not just for Black women who doing hair products. I told you I was all over the place. I got so much that I've been waiting to tell you guys for a very long time. And I know that most people won't even watch this video in its entirety because it's way too long. I got it. But Black people, be Black. You don't got to be nothing else. You don't got to be an Uncle Tom. You don't have to dress up and play nice. Just be respectful of one another and people. You know, not just Black people. Just be a respectful person, okay? But don't have somebody to tell you to whiten up yourself and you're being too Black. Granted, you need to hold yourself up with respect and dignity. If you are in an orchestra, don't be loud. If you're in a movie, don't be loud. That's just being respectful. That's what I'm saying. But if you at a cookout and you guys are playing oldies and goodies, you're playing rap music, and you want to run around and do whatever you want, just be yourself. Don't worry about how the world sees you. That's the problem. That is the problem. They already demonize us on television. They already exploit us for our talents. And then they make sure those who they pay very well, that they have nothing to do with Black people on our level. All of this stuff is a charade. All this is manipulation. They let a few black people do well so they can say, oh, well, these black people are doing well, so America's not racist. We know the truth. We know the truth. I applaud people like LeBron who try to do as much as he can, or as far as I know, to help people out during these dire times. Love yourselves. Love your black men. Love your black women. And love people, no matter the race. But the one thing I want you guys to do is love your people, man. Love your black people. Stop killing one another, because as soon as they kill one of us, they try to justify that we kill ourselves. Look, dude try to rob you, you shoot him. I get it. That's just going to happen because white people do the same thing to white people. So they are no better, but they always try to demonize us. Oh, you guys black on black killings. Stop it. But love yourself. Love one another. Black men, love black men. Black women, love black women. Don't matter their intellectual level. Doesn't matter their financial level. And black women love black men. Black men love black women. And at the end of the day, respect everybody. That's the one thing that we're lacking. There's no respect. You're not going to shoot and kill somebody if you respect them, or you respect them as a human being. Before I'm black, I'm a human being. I'm a human being that's black. I'm not a, you get what I'm trying to say? I'm a Homo sapien, man. But they don't look at us like that. They look at us like animals. They have been trained to look at us like animals. J9 says, absolutely right. Buy black, even if it's online. We are the salt of the earth, original man since Adam. J9 says, then they pull them away from the black community. Sim Rose says, in my 10th year, locked, and I won't go back to the beauty standards of society. I try my hardest to support black ministers no matter what. Sister, believe me, I love natural hair. It's my favorite hair. Yeah. But anyway, thank you guys for tuning in and listening to me rant and rave. Believe me, my heart, my condolences go out to the families of Ahmaud Arbery and Doug Lewis. And I'm sorry that you guys lost your sons over racism because of the color of their skin. I dream sometimes of a utopia where there's black people in a neighborhood, in an area, living together in harmony. That's my dream. Not that I want to put out whites, Hispanics, or Asians. It's nothing about that. I just believe in black love, and we can do business with anyone. Like me on my channel, Financial Literacy 101. If anybody knows me, I don't care the color of your skin. I will help you. I will give you credit letters. I will give you information. I don't care about the color of your skin. But this right here, this topic right here is personal, because the people that look like you and I are dying because of their skin. So I'm gonna leave you with this. Love one another and respect everybody. You guys have a great and wonderful evening. I'm out.